Okay, so the topic that we have to discuss for this meeting is all about geometric sequence. So we are done in the arithmetic and also the case and sequence and also the means. So therefore, we will have now the next topic that we'll have is the geometric sequence. So we have here the illustration of geometric sequence. So we have to watch a video from this link. Then after that, you have to identify what is the difference between the arithmetic and geometric sequence. So, ayan, ha? So, let's start.
Determine whether the given sequence is arithmetic or geometric. Let's start by taking a look at this given sequence. Let's see if we can figure out if it's arithmetic or geometric. First, let's see if it's geometric. A sequence that is geometric has a common ratio. So here, we need to first test and see if this sequence has a common ratio. If it does, that means that we have a geometric sequence. Remember, a common ratio is the number that each term is multiplied by in order to get the next term in the sequence. In order to find a common ratio, we need to take a term and divide it by the term that comes before it. So let's take a look at the first two terms in this sequence, -6 and 1. To find the ratio between these two terms, we need to take 1 and divide it by the term that comes before it, -6. When we take 1 divided by -6, we get -1/6. So here, we're proposing that R, the common ratio, is -1/6. Now, in order for this sequence to have a common ratio, we need to get this same value for R whenever we perform the similar division with any two other consecutive terms in this sequence. So let's take a look at the next set of consecutive terms, 1 and 8. We find the ratio between them by taking 8 and dividing it by the term that comes before it, 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. So, this value of R is 8. Is -1/6 equal to 8? No, it's not. Those two numbers are definitely not the same. Since we did not get the same value for R, that means we do not have a common ratio in this sequence. So, the sequence is not geometric. But, is it arithmetic? Well, let's see. A sequence that is arithmetic has what is called a common difference. So we need to check and see if our sequence has a common difference. Remember, a common difference is the constant amount of change between terms in a sequence. So here we need to see if that difference is the same for the consecutive terms. Again, take a look at the first two terms, -6 and 1. To find the difference between those two terms, we take 1 and subtract the term that comes before it, -6. 1 minus a -6 is 7. So here we're proposing that D, the common difference, is 7. But we need to check the other consecutive terms. So here we now look at 1 and 8. We find the difference. 8 minus 1 is 7. So we get that D equals 7. Hey, look! We got the same value for D each time. That means to go from -6 to 1, we need to add 7. To go from 1 to 8, we need to add 7. If this pattern continues throughout the entire sequence, that means that we have a common difference, and the sequence is arithmetic. That means in our next step, we need to check the rest of the terms in this sequence to see if they follow this similar pattern. Well, here we now have 8, and we need to get from 8 to 15. Well, if we take 8 plus 7, we get 15. And sure enough, if we take 15 plus 7, we get 22. We have this pattern of adding 7 each time we want to get the next term in the sequence. Since this is the same number we're adding each time, that means that we do indeed have a common difference. Since we have a common difference, that means that this sequence is arithmetic. Now let's take a look at our other given sequence. Here, we need to see if this sequence is arithmetic or geometric. Again, let's start by testing to see if it's geometric. That means that we need to see if we have a common ratio. If we do, that means that our sequence is geometric. So again, we look at the first two terms, 324 and 108. To find the ratio between them, we take 108 and divide it by the term that comes before it, 324. When we perform this division, we get 1/3. So here, we're proposing that r, the common ratio, is 1/3. But to check to make sure that we keep getting the same value for r, we need to check the next two consecutive terms, 108 and 36. We find the ratio by taking 36 divided by 108. And we get 1/3. So, we're saying that r is 1/3. We have the same value for r. In order to get from 324 to 108, we need to multiply by 1/3. To get from 108 to 36, we need to multiply by 1/3. But does this pattern of multiplying by 1/3 to get the next term continue? Well, we need to check the rest of the terms in this sequence to make sure they follow this pattern. If they do, we have a common ratio. That means that our sequence is geometric. So let's look. Here, if we take 36 and multiply it by 1/3, we get 12. And if we take 12 and multiply it by 1/3, we indeed get 4. So that means our sequence holds this pattern of taking a term and multiplying it by 1/3 in order to get the next term in the sequence. That means that we have a common ratio of 1/3. And that also means that this sequence is geometric. Now, what happens if you get a case where your sequence does not have a common ratio or a common difference? In that case, you have a sequence that is neither geometric nor arithmetic. But here, we had two sequences. This sequence was arithmetic, and this sequence was geometric.
Okay, so did you get the difference between the arithmetic and geometric? So again, the difference between the geometric and the arithmetic sequence, kapag sinabi natin arithmetic sequence, meron siyang common difference. So dito siya papaka-common difference. While the geometric sequence has the has the common arithmetic is common difference, geometric has the common ratio. So kapag arithmetic, you have to subtract the second term to the first term. And kapag naman geometric, you have to divide the second term to the first term. Dapat pare-pares na sila ng sagot. So, to find the term of the geometric sequence, meron tayo ditong formula. Yung sa arithmetic natin, you are familiar here. We have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, where your a sub 1 is the first term and your n is the number of terms that is missing. Your d is the common difference. So pag pinwash yung common difference, subtract the second to the first term. Then we have here the geometric. To find for the geometric sequence or the term in the geometric sequence, you have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So you have or you need calculator kasi meron tayong fraction, not fraction, exponent. Sometimes malalaki kasi yung exponent. So exponent is multiplying by itself. So kung magaling naman kayo mag-multiply by itself, edi huwag kayo gumamit ng calculator. Kung hindi naman, hindi gumamit. So any question in the difference between the geometric and the arithmetic or arithmetic versus geometric? So ayan po yung difference ng dalawa. What happened to addition? Okay, so we have here the arithmetic. So for the arithmetic, again, it has the common difference. So example, we have here the given. Ito yung ating given. So 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and 16. So find for the difference, all you have to do is subtract or minus 1. The answer will be 3. 7 minus 4, the answer is also 3. And 10 minus 7, the answer also 3. So the difference is 3. So they are common and 3. So that is the difference. For the geometric, you will have here the sequence that you will have here is 1, 3, 9, 27, 81, and 243. So we had to find for the common ratio. So what we're going to do is 3 divided by 1. The answer is 3. 9 divided by 3, the answer will be 3, and 27 divided by 9, the answer is also 3. So therefore, the R is 3 or the common ratio is 3. So dapat pare-pare sila. Kapag meron nag-iba, ay hindi na siya belong dun sa given. So, ang sabi kanina sa video, and the question is, what if hindi siya kasali sa arithmetic and hindi rin siya kasali sa geometry? So, ang sagot dun is neither. So, neither or neither. So, kasi hindi siya belong kay arithmetic at hindi rin siya belong kay geometric. So, neither sequence siya. Maybe other type of sequence kasi may other type of sequence pa. The next topic that we'll have here is finding the n term of the geometric sequence. So the formula na meron tayo dito is the same as earlier. We have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So this is our first example. We have here find the a term of the following geometric sequence. We have here the 4, 12, 36, and 108. Then we have to find for the a term. So to solve for this given, so kailangan natin i-identify yung ating mga parts ng given. So meron tayo ditong a sub 1 is equal to 4. Then we have to find for a sub 8. Ito. That is missing. Then after that is we have to find for the r. And to find for the r is equal to, we have to divide 12 divided by 4. The answer will be nakaroon tayo dito ng 3. So, sabi dyan, proposing is your R is equal to 3 kasi 12 divided by 4, the answer is 3. Now, we have to check if the given has the common ratio of 3. So, 36 divided by 12. If we're going to divide 36 divided by 12, the answer is also 3. And 108 divided by 36, the answer is also 3. So, therefore, R is equal to 3. Now, using the formula, magkakaroon tayo dito ng a sub 8 is equal to your first term is 4 times the R is equal to 3 raised to the N is equal to yung N pala natin dito is equal to 8. Yan. So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 8 minus 1. It's based on the given. So, again, 4 is the a sub 1, r is equal to 3, a sub n is equal to a sub 8, then n is equal to 8 minus 1, kasi n minus 1. Then this will be a sub 8 is equal to 4 times, nakaroon tayo ng 3 raised to 7. Now, pakipindot sa inyong calculator para diretsuhan na tayo. Nagkakaroon tayo ng 4, ito sa calculator, 4 times 3, tapos yung gano'n na symbol, nasa taas siya, doon sa function part, then 7 equals. So, a sub 8 is equal to, that is 4 times 3 raised to 7. Anyone? Yes, Cyril.
8,748.
Okay, so magkakaroon tayo 8,748 as the a sub 8. We have here find the 6th term, the 9th term, and the 50th term of this given. We have 2, 4, 8, and 16. So, tatlo yung kukunin natin. So, we have the 6, the 9, and the 15. So, let's find first the a sub 1. Ang ating a sub 1 here is equal to 2. Ang ating r is equal to, what will be our r? Would you like to answer? Raise your hand. Ay, wala na. Yes, Cyril again.
Oh, 2.
Okay, the R is equal to 2 kasi we have 4 divided by 2. The answer will be 2. So, 8 divided by 4, the answer is also 2. 16 divided by 8 is also 2. So therefore, your R is 2. Let's find first the N, which is equal to 6. Yeah. So magkakaroon tayo A sub 6 is equal to, A sub N is equal to A sub 1 times R raised to N minus 1. So this will be A sub 6 is equal to, karoon tayo dito ng 2 times 2 raised to 6 minus 1. Ayan. So, ito pala ay 2. 6 minus 1. Then A sub 6 is equal to 2 times 2, 6 minus 1 is 5. So therefore, your A sub 6 is equal to, what is 2 times 2 to the 5? Aside from Cyril. Yes, magbalay.
64.
So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 64 as the answer. Okay, next, we are done in the A sub 6. So, let's go now with the A sub 9 term. So, in this case, parehas lang sila. Your A sub 1 is 2. Your R is also 2. And your N is equal to 9. So, A sub N is equal to A sub 1 times R raised to N minus 1. Substitute. Karoon tayo ng A sub 9 is equal to 2 times 2 raised to 9 minus 1. Rod, pakibaba ang kamay, baka mangalay. Karoon tayo A sub 9 is equal to 2 times 2, 9 minus 1 is 8. So therefore, A sub 9 is equal to 2 times 2 raised to 8. Yes, Diaz.
512 po.
700? 12.
512 po. 5 po.
512?
Opo.
Okay. This will be 512. Okay? The next question, wala naman siguro. The next is we have here the 15th term. So we're done here. Let's go now with the 50th term. So A sub 1 is also 2, R is also 2, N now is 15. So magkakaroon tayo ng A sub N is equal to A sub 1 times R raised to N minus 1. So this will be A sub 15 is equal to 2 times 2, then 15 minus 1. So A sub 15 is equal to 2 times 2 raised to 14. So A sub 15. Yes, Batarlo.
32,768.
Okay, so you will have 32,768 as the answer. Okay, so let's have the problem solving. So, yeah, problem solving na naman. So, the question number 1 we have here, in 2013, the number of students in a small school is 284. It's estimated that the student population will increase by 4% each year. So, and then, write the formula for student population and estimate the student population in 2020. So, karoon na tayo dito. So, let's identify first the given. So, sabi dito, the small school is, student for the small school is 284. So, therefore, your A sub 1 is equal to 284. Next, we have to find for your N. So, kasi we have to estimate the population from 2013 to 2020. So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng your N is equal to 2020 minus 2013. So, therefore, this is 7. So, 7 yung ating N. Then, The population increased by 4%. So, paano natin kukumpleto yung series natin? So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 284. Para makuha natin yung n, what will be the next term? Yung problema natin kasi kailangan kasi natin ng what do you call this? The second term para makuha natin yung r. Now, to find for your r, to find r. So, magkakaroon tayo dito, gamitin natin itong 4%. 4% is equivalent to 0.04. So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 284. Multiply natin ng 0.04. Yan. Kapag nag-multiply ka ng 284 multiply by 0.04, magkakaroon tayo ng 11.36, which is approximately as 11. Kasi wala naman tayong 0.36 na tao. So, we have to round it off into whole number. Kaya this will be a 11 lang. So, ano yung gagawin natin to 11? This 11 will be added to 284. So, 284 plus 11, the answer will be 295. So, ito na yung ating second term. 295. Okay, so magkakaroon tayo dito ng that's 295. Then after that, we can now find your r. So magkakaroon tayo ng r is equal to 295 divided by 284. So if we're going to divide 295 divided by 284, this will be 1.04. So this will be the value of your r. So yun yung ating r. So therefore, your r is equal to 1.04. Question so far? Question, clarification? Nakuha ba kung paano naging 1.04 yun? Okay? Okay, so let's go now with the formula. Our formula is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So this will be a sub 7 is equal to, our a sub 1 is 284 times the r, wait lang, the r is equal to 1.04 raised to n minus 1. So, ito yung letter A. This is the answer for the letter A. Kasi ito yung formula natin. So, a sub 7 or a sub n is equal to 284 multiplied by 1.04 raised to n minus 1. Now, continuation for the letter B. So, magkakaroon tayo ng a sub 7 is equal to 284 times 1.04. This will be 7 minus 1. Then a sub 7 is equal to 284 multiplied by 1.04 raised to 8. So, a sub 7. What will be the answer kung meron kang a sub 7? Yes, Batarlo again.
388.67 po.
388.6. So, wait, sorry. Not 8 pala to. Ano ba yun? Nag-add ako. This will be 6. 7 minus 1 nga pala yun. Paki-recompute ba, Tarlo? This is 6. Can I 284 multiplied by 1.04 raised to 6?
359.35 po.
Rounded off kasi wala tayong point na tao. What will be the final answer if you will round it off?
359 lang po.
Okay, so therefore we will have 359 students. Estimated in 2020, the population. So, yun po yan, 259. Question? Nag-raise ba ng question dito? Nag-raise ba? Wala naman. Si Bian na huli. Uy, Joshua, diyan ka na pala. Oh, late na. Verification sa ating problem. Again, you can find for your R if we're going to multiply kung ano man yung given natin. So, how to get for the percentage? You have to move twice to the left. 4% is equal to 0.04 kasi nag-move siya. So, this 4%, yan, andito yan, 1, 2. Kaya nagkaroon siya ng 0.04. Oh, nasa na si Micah? Ayun. Okay na. So, let's have another. So, we have here, suppose the ball is dropped from a height of 16 feet and it bounces up to 75% of its previous height after each bounce. Then, if each sub n is the greatest height of the ball after the nth bounce, find the h sub n. Then, find the height of the h bounce. So, we have here the solution. Ito na yung illustration natin. Nagsimula siya sa 16. So, ito yung ating given. So, nagsimula siya sa 16. Nihulog siya. Then, ang kinakount lang natin dito is yung bounce and the height after the bounce. Sabi dyan, kapag nag-rebounce daw siya, kanyang given or ang kanyang height ay nababawasan ng 75%. 75% of its previous height of each bounce. So, this will be for the letter A. So, greatest height of the bounce, full bounce after the nth bounce. Yung the greatest is pinakamataas na. So, the sequence is the geometric because the term is a constant with the 0.75 times to the previous. Ito yung 75% is equal to 0.75. Now, what are you going to do is magkakaroon tayo ng 16 times 0.05. The answer will be 12. Ayan. So, ito ay magiging 12 na. Ito yung ating, hindi ito yung ating h sub 1. Ito na yung magiging h sub 1. This will be 12. And the R is equal to 0.75. Now, the formula that we will have here is 12 multiplied by 0.75 raised to n minus 1. We will not able to get the 16 kasi yung 16, inihulog pa lang siya. Pero hindi pa siya nagbabounce. Kaya, we are going to get ito, yung after the bounce. So, on the 8th bounce, kukunin natin yung pang 8. So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng 12 times 0.75, 8 minus 1 kasi this will be our n, yung 8. So, a sub 8 to. So, magkakaroon ng 12 times 0.75. This will be 0.75 raised to 7. The answer will be 1.16. So, this after the 8th bounce, the ball rises 1.16. Ito na yung pinaka after the 8th bounce, that's 1.16.